Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 54. Nothing but questions with me, George, as always joined by Tom. David Frost to my ice pop. How's it going?
I like that one. That's good. I'm very well, mate. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right, I think. Yeah. It's we've got a bank holiday weekend, so we've got a little bit of an extra behind the scenes. Everyone loves a behind the scenes special, don't they?
They do.
So we've asked the community for their comments and questions about us, the show, life, the universe, and everything, ultimately, Tom, as far as I can tell, which is, we're very honoured to have received them. We're also going to let's give them the rundown the way they like it. So we're going to give them some of the latest white-hot gaming news, Tom. The feature's going to be the aforementioned questions and answers session that we've got planned. Then we're going to have Stingray belt up the drive in classic fashion. No matter what you do, he just keeps coming back. And then I'll ask you what you're hoping to play. And the show kicks off. Seems very anemic this week, but I'm sure we'll pad it out and talk for 6 hours regardless and give Phil the producer something to slash and cut. Odders? Grip your Wii, insert remote for Mario Kart. Hold it tight, friend. Tom, what you been playing?
This week, I've carried on with my Last of Us playthrough. Ready for playing part 2. Very near the end now. I've just got to the city outskirts before the hospital, which is the final portion of the game. Just touch briefly on the part before that, where if you haven't played it, and you want to play the sequel, get on it, because we're just going to quickly discuss some parts of the plot. So after Joel sort of falls and skewers himself on some rolled steel, he is carried out of the building, or sort of helped out of the building by Ellie, and she tries to nurse him back to health. It moves the timeline forward a bit to winter, and you're out hunting with Ellie with a bow and arrow. It's quite interesting just to switch to a different player than Joel for a little bit. And she comes across this guy who at first appears shady and then proves that he's trying to help her, but double twist again. He then shows his true colours and reveals that he's not a nice man. They track Ellie down to where she goes back to sort of look after Joel. So she leads them from him to sort of save him because he's weak and he can't fight or anything. And she ends up in their little village commune, which is a very, very dark place.
Yeah.
She discovers that these are actually cannibal, they're eating other humans, which is pretty grim. And the plot gets very dark, and it's quite tense. There's a sort of snow blizzard comes to the town, and you play as Ellie for a little bit, sneaking around, and then you switch back to Joel, and you do feel like that. Yeah, I'm back, and I'm going to go get her and save her. And although she doesn't need much saving at that point, because she proceeds to plunge a machete into aforementioned character's head, and I think that's a really important turning point for her as a character, because I quickly played a minute or so of the next part because it skips to spring.
Yeah.
And Joel's just talking to her about teaching her how to play the guitar when they can finally find somewhere where they can settle down a bit, and she's just not there. You can tell that's had a traumatic effect on her, what she's just been through, and I think that's going to be touched upon more, and give her some or motives for why she does what she does, and how she can be incredibly violent because of what she's seen. But yeah, that's I really enjoyed that. Nice to have a second playthrough. Played some Warzone this week with some friends. We had a win last night as a team of 4. I know there's been various updates this week. There's a classic battle royale mode for those who don't know now. So there's no gulag to go into where you can get respawned. There's no loadouts to buy. It's basically the very old-fashioned way of you land with no weapons, you loot what you can. When you die, you're dead. You can be revived by your friends if you're playing in duos. Sorry, they aren't duos, trios or quads. Yeah, that's good fun. Been practicing Overwatch again, trying to level up on the competitive season.
Have you found that more battle royale style is more fun, or do you think that the COD Call of Duty Warfare Zone Night is actually which way round do you prefer it?
So we played a couple of games of that last night, the classic one, and it's a lot harder because you land in with just fists and you've just got to try and find what you can, and not having the option of the gulag where you can, if you win, you get thrown back into the game or being brought back. So it's harder, definitely. It's the more difficult of the two. But yeah, it's still quite fun. It's a bit more tense, I suppose, because you've got to be a bit more careful, whereas a lot of the time, 2 or 3 of us will see an enemy team and all you just want to do is like, oh yeah, let's go fight them.
It's a bit more Hunger Games.
Yeah. I'd love to see like a bit of a take on that with more basic weaponry and maybe even a bit of a crafting element of, I don't know, you land and you've really got to try and survive and build your own weaponry, and then maybe towards the end game you get access to like, I don't know, a hidden bunker or building or whatever, and you've got some proper firearms in there. But they don't have to be like crazy weapons.
Have you seen this thing where people have been finding these key cards on Warzone and opening up these bunkers, and then there's another door and another door and another door? We don't know what's behind these doors yet, do we? It's all very like lost. Yeah,
it seems like it's leading to a bit of an event, maybe in the Fortnite vein of giving little clues. Last night we found a phone, and one of the mates answered the phone and it was in Russian, and apparently that gives you access to a bunker. But he got killed on the way to the bunker, and we thought, oh, maybe because we've received the phone call, any of us can open the bunker, but you can't. So it has to be that person. So that adds another dimension of maybe protecting that character a bit more, and it's getting them to the bunker, which is quite cool. I know it gets panned a lot, Call of Duty, but Warzone's free and it's a good laugh. It's a very social.
Got to install the full game though, which made my eyebrow raise the other day.
Yeah, this is a problem, massive problem. I think it's over 200 gigabytes now for the whole thing, and that's disgusting. It's just they can say all they like. It's just they're not compressing the files and they're just lazy. It's brutal, but it's true.
Wow.
If you can shove Red Dead Redemption into 100 gigabyte, it's probably more after the updates, but that's a massive world with loads of dialogue. Same with Ghost of Tsushima, which they said is going to be roughly, I think, only 50 gigabyte for that, and many other open world games. I think they're taking the Michael a little bit with that one, aren't they? With Call of Duty.
It's a shame they can't separate the two parts of the game out and then just let you have the free download. There's a smaller version just for the Battle Royale. Yeah. Again, what do I know? I know?
Well, we're about to find out because that's all I've been playing. I'm going to ask you what you've been playing.
Oh, okay. So let me have a little think. I've been playing NBA 2K on the Dreamcast. I've been playing Total NBA 97.
Uh-huh.
96 on the PS1. That plays a little bit better. It's a little bit more arcadey, even though I'm playing it on simulation, because NBA 2K on the Dreamcast, you just get fouls all the time. Offensive foul, defensive foul. So, oh, really? I'm trying to get the ball. Surely that's the idea of this silly game.
Sorry, carry on.
So it's a little bit disappointing. What were you going to tell me?
Well, I'm kind of pleased you're playing an American sports game because, just quickly, I want to say we're working on a bit of a feature coming up. We're just thinking on when's a good time to release it. We're going to try and coincide it with something in the same vein, but we're going to do an American sports game feature because we're British and we play a varying amount of over the years. We've played a lot of
this American is your magnum
games.
Opus. I'm expecting possibly the best script you've ever written.
Well, you're going to be helping as well. So
am I?
I'm getting,
get the checkbook out, write those checks that your ass can't cash.
Phil, James are all getting involved. Going to be a group effort.
A magnum opus.
Yeah, but we're going to be looking at basketball, baseball, NFL, wrestling. I think we're going to do a nice little feature on sort of a British person's take on American sports
I don't
games.
take coffee, I drink tea, my dear.
Yeah, I like it. So expect plenty of American and British slang spiel. And yeah, we'll probably speak to some of our transatlantic friends about their take on it as well.
I don't take coffee, I drink tea, my dear. I like my toasted on one side. You can hear it in my accent when I walk, an Englishman's take on American sport.
Did you just make that up, or are we going to get copyrighted?
No, I think the starts, I just changed one line. But seeing as you are an Englishman in New York, you like that? Is that going to be, have we already blown the intro?
Well, I hope you'll have to rewind and listen to this for when we do release it. But yeah, sorry to digress massively there. We'll get back to what you've been playing. But yeah, stay tuned for that one.
Oh, yeah, me. Been playing Star Wars Arcade on the 32X. That's pretty fun. It's brutally difficult at times, but It's a fun little game. Got about halfway through that on repeated occasions. Desert Strike as well.
Oh, nice. Great game.
That's such a good game. Such a great game. The story.
You've been playing on the Mega Drive.
Yeah. The gameplay, the handling of the chopper, the whole thing, it's just really on point. And some of the intro animated stills look great even to this day. And then
I found it hard to navigate the map when I was younger.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I don't know how that holds up. How do you feel?
Really well. You press start and then you can go left or right to go between the two different missions.
Yeah.
It's very obviously where the helicopter is on the map. Very obvious. Mm-hmm. You head towards the flashing part that you need to go for. So I can imagine as a youngster that would be difficult, but probably if you only had loose cart as well. So, but generally, great games, held up really well. I had a little go on Nomad Soul on the Dreamcast, the David Bowie Quantic Dream, I think their first game. David Cage. That game. It's just such a tank. It's just absolutely... I think, I'll be honest, it was so stuttery and such a mess. I think it made me feel ill. So I went straight back to NBA 2K, no questions asked. What else have I been playing? Oh, Read Only Memories 2064. I finished that this very morning. I just got the epilogue to do. So I'm looking forward to that. I think you're just checking on some of the characters. It's got some replayability, kind of. I might play it through again.
The man who finishes games yet again.
Yeah.
He's always knocking them out.
Well, you write the story that you finish the games, and then quietly in the background I just keep chipping away. Minecraft, falling in and out of love with that on a daily basis. It's got its hooks in me, though. We're making our way to the end game, so we need to find certain materials. Phil, the producer's giving me the thumbs up. 5:15 on the weekdays, 3:15 on the weekends, UK time. Be there or be square.
I've just thought of something.
Okay.
Minecraft based.
Right. What we got?
I just I might talk to you about it off air, but it's something you could probably stream.
Oh.
And it's a new release.
Oh.
And something for the Minecraft fans. So if you don't get it with all those clues.
That Dungeons marquee.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Maybe. We'll see how it fares.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's not very Minecrafty for me, but maybe I'll have a rip through. If Notch is listening, seeing as I've boosted your game downloads by probably millions, you ought to probably send me a code, you little rat.
I think they should, yeah.
Yeah. What else have I been playing? I'm trying to think. Well, goodness gracious me, it's in the news, but we'll just let people know about the facts and figures when we get to the news. But I had downloaded the Iron Man VR demo, finished that, not very long at all. I'm
excited to hear about that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the meat and veg of it here as in the experience. the demo feels great. It leaves you wanting so much more, though. And it came across. There's been other Marvel experiences that have come out, and because it was so brief, it kind of felt like a tie-in for a film, like a Mickey Mouse thing. But it's got me intrigued as to what the main game's like. Obviously, you've got the move controllers, and you're pointing them at the floor, and pull the trigger to blast up and push them back to move. It's one of the first games, I think, where you can just turn around in 3D space instead of like mapping round, and it maps the back of your head perfectly.
Did young James try it out?
No, that's not happened yet. So we need to wheel him in at some point in time and clag him into it. Yeah. Maybe today.
It looks impressive. I watched someone playing it on YouTube.
Well, the only thing was with the demo, and I hope this is fixed in the full game. There's a bit where you're in a plane. It's in the trailers. There's no spoilers here. And you're sat in Stark's private jet. Penny Potts is on board, and you've got your AI, female Friday. And things happen, and the side gets blown out. And Pepper's still strapped in her seat, and she's like, we'll go to work. So you unstrap, and you jump out, and then it loads. If that had been a seamless experience, now I think the full game will be a seamless experience, but that was frustrating. Then you're outside, falling, tumbling to the ground, which was great, and you're dodging bits. This is without the suit on. And then you're like, Friday, I need my suit. And she says, all right gauntlet inbound. So you hold up your right arm. It's like, then you've got firepower in your right hand, so you can blast bits of falling debris out the way. And he's like, I need more. And she's like, right, left gauntlet inbound. So you hold up your left hand, and it's like,
that's great.
And he's like, yes. And then the chess piece comes. And then he's like, I need my head-up display. And she's like, right, helmet on way. So the helmet comes in, locks in, loading. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Please, if that had just been and go.
See, this is where next gen's going to really help, isn't it?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing. If that's just because it's a demo, totally give them the slack. And I think it is because it's the demo. So when we get the full game, when all that happens seamlessly, you are going to feel like an absolute boss. Then you kind of go up to the plane, and you got to put some fires out on the exterior. You grip some wreckage with your gloves, and you kind of prise off some bits that are stopping the airolons from working. And not too long after that, you take out some bad guys, and the demo ends. And it's got some replayability. There's definitely bits, I think, where they're keeping bits back from us. Like there's a bit where you fly around Malibu Mansion testing the suit out for the first time, and you land on. Did you play Batman VR? Did you finish? You did,
yes.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
You know the bit where you go down into the cave and you put the cowl on and you put the gloves on, then it drops you into the Bat Cave. There's a bit where you kind of flying around the outside of the mansion, and you go land on a spot, and you press a button and it starts loading. Whereas I imagine in the full game, that's going to lower you down into the cellar, into his. But that was then removed, and it's like, oh, you know, I would have given anything for that to have been seamless.
I think often with games, game demos, they cut and chop a lot of different parts from the game, full game.
Well, I also get the impression this is the demo that people were playing over a year ago when No Man's Sky VR came out, because everything they described then is in this demo. So one would imagine they've just sort of chucked it out there, whereas the full game is going to be, it's going to be so much better than that. So I'm excited for that.
I think you forget how old some of these demos can be that have been in like
shows and
like
stuff.
Shows and journalists' hands for well over a year, and you get hold of them, and then like a month later the full game's out, and you're like, wow, you can actually see quite the difference. Yeah, from the early stage demo. But yeah, that's good. Shall we move on to the news?
I think I've covered everything I've been playing now. Yeah,
always a nice varied mix from you.
Like to keep you guessing, don't I? And there's some questions coming up. I'm looking forward to seeing you answer reference games. So yeah,
gonna Going to test my knowledge.
Very much so. News. We scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, as we've just talked about, suit up in Iron Man VR. If you've been itching to try out Marvel's Iron Man VR for yourself before the game's launch on the 3rd of July, cannot wait, you better get ready to suit up. The demo featuring multiple playable missions is hitting the PS4 to, when was that? Shouldn't have written the news this long ago, should I? Got all excited. It's out now, and giving it a shot will net you the exclusive molten lava armor.
That's good
for use in the full release. So even if you're only slightly curious, I'd go get the demo because it gives you another suit. Here's a quick list of what the demo includes: Malibu tutorial mission, which I talked about; interactive Stark Jet cinematic featuring Tony, Friday, and Pepper Potts; Out of the Blue Stark Jet gameplay mission. And Flight Challenge optional mission and the Advanced Combat Challenge optional mission. Put my teeth in, spin them round, put them in the right way. So I think we've covered everything there. I'll give you my idea of what it's like. The interactive Stark Jet cinematic is basically you sat getting an update from Pepper. You can open with your fingerprints. Spoilers if you don't want it ruining, but it's all over the internet. You can open the suit in the case and have a look at it. You can pick up an iPad and flick through the news. It's okay.
Well, just quickly talking about the game got a small delay, didn't it, along with The Last of Us Part 2?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll have added a little bit of extra polish, or maybe just done a final bug on that, and hopefully we'll get a nice, really solid...
I was listening to an interview with Camouflage. I think it might have been the PlayStation podcast, the American one, about a month ago, while on lockdown.
The ones who are below us in the charts, aren't they? That's right.
In America, I'm sure they're somewhere below us in the charts.
Yeah, I think so.
And he was just saying basically the delay is because they had to implement emptying the office, getting people's kits back to their houses, and how that was going to work and how they're going to interact. I don't know as they're going to add anything to the game, although at the time they did say they weren't too sure whether they were going to put out a demo. So the fact they've actually released this demo is maybe a positive sign. I think that basically getting the heads around how to work remotely is where the delay came from. I think 3rd of July. It's not too long away, really, is it? I've seen some physical packings of what they're going to get in America. They're going to get 2 Move 1s, the game in like an exclusive box, but it doesn't look like we're going to net that here in Europe. So
that's a
if
shame.
you want, the Move 1s are hellish expensive, but if you buy them brand new from PlayStation or your Walmart or Amazon or whatever, however you want to get hold of them, that's the most price effective way, because even the PS3 era Move 1s still fetch crazy money on the second-hand market. So if no one's got Move 1s and they're essential for this, get that box set ASAP on order.
Very good. Right, we'll get to the next bit of news. Reggie looking for filling. Here's something to look out for next week. Xbox head Phil Spencer will be joining former Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé and award-winning author journalist Harold Goldberg's podcast next week, which is called Talking Games with Reggie and Harold. You'll be able to catch the podcast next week on May 26th over at Podcast's GoFundMe page. It's raising funds for a new initiative to bring games and games writing courses to high school students in homeless shelters in New York City. And donors get access to lots of bonuses such as extra content, the ability to ask questions to Reggie, and more. That's
are you still
idea,
throwing food out your window to help the homeless in New York City, or are you not doing that anymore?
Only peelings. Just peelings. So, yeah.
You are horrible.
I am.
You are horrible.
I feel at Christmas I'm going to be visited by 3 ghosts, one of which will be Ponsonbury.
Save that. That's the Christmas. Yes! Write that down. One of them's Ponsonbury, the other one's James, and the ghost of Christmas present is me.
Okay.
That is absolutely
down now.
belting. Oh, mate. Oh, wow. I am already excited for Christmas. That's genius. Okay. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. Are you still with me? You are.
I'm still with you.
I cannot wait until you come back and record in the studio here. It's next level, thanks to Phil.
Well, yeah.
It might be a while.
Hopefully he can balance all this out, perhaps.
I'm sure he'll be able to. Next bit of news. The Dark Fortnite. Yes, the latest trailer for Tenet is the next action trailer flick for director Christopher Nolan's I'll start again. Yes, the latest trailer for Tenet, the next action flick from director Christopher Nolan, just had its debut within Fortnite's Party Royale mode. You can see what it looked like in the game via the video from GameSpot. Someone's managed to screen capture a character looking at it, but when I did go to look at the trailer, not in the game of Fortnite, but watching GameSpot's video, there were people jumping around all over in front of it, just how we don't want an MMO to be. Within the worldview, unable to view the trailer in movie theatres, Nolan and Epic Games collaborated to bring the video to the game as the next best thing. Interestingly, that's not quite the full story, Tom. It's also been revealed that another Nolan movie, a full-length film from the director, will play in its entirety within Fortnite this summer. It's not known which of his films will play, but that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your guess? I'm going for it's got to be one of the Dark Knight trilogy, hasn't it?
It's probably going to be the second one, isn't it? I think people would tune in for Batman Begins.
I think Interstellar and Inception, Memento, they're all going to be a bit too... I don't know.
Momentum's no, because it's a 15. The others are 12, which is age perfect for the game. So Inception could be in there, but...
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Again, Batman, Inception's seemingly his own idea, whereas Batman may need buy-in from a studio
true.
And DC Comics to let it happen. But there's already a tie-in there with Fortnite, so possibly.
Yeah, maybe so. Well, it goes to show the power of that, and it's interesting to see with cinemas being closed out, people are promoting their product or their film.
Picture the scene 5 years from now. You're watching people play Fortnite in Fortnite on a screen. So you take your avatar in Fortnite to the drive-in theatre to watch people playing Fortnite in Fortnite. Maybe like that is Inception. Maybe it's going to be Inception.
Could be.
Well, if you can just pick your brain up off the floor, listeners, because that's left me.
That's blown my tiny mind.
Yeah.
But we'll move on because I got a little bit of bonus news.
How dare you clap? Your hands will rupture. The silk-like glove lining off them.
Soft as a baby's bottom.
You normally tell me to clap, and there you are clapping for yourself. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they hurt now. I might have to go off.
Get your Taiwanese housemaid to bathe them in Dove hand cream for 3 or 4 hours. I'm sure you'll be fine. So what's this bonus news?
Phil, two seconds. Phil, what's the standing on claiming for sort of injury at work? He's shaking his head. He says that's not doable. Okay, all right. I just thought that might have been a bit more pennies there. Bit of bonus news. Blue Point Games are rumoured to be working on a Jack and Daxter trilogy.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Remake for the PS5 and also possibly Legacy of Kain. I've never played that, but I think you have.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the news. Legacy of Kain. It's not clarified as to whether it's Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver or whether it's Legacy of Kain, the top-down isometric vampire game. So,
okay. Well, I think I've probably played Jack and Daxter 1, maybe even a demo of it when he's come with an official PlayStation magazine. But
I was playing that about a year ago on this show. I got about halfway, and then newer games came out and I kind of dropped it. But it's one I intend to go back to because it was a fun game. Controls were good, felt tight. No complaints here. It was very much a collect 'em up though, which I did get a little bit bored of.
Would you
maybe
rather
over halfway as well because I think I got all the collectibles to that point, so I'd absolutely smashed it, wide open. Tell me more.
Would you rather play Jak and Daxter remake or a new Ratchet and Clank as your PS5 platformer launch game?
Always a new game, surely. Even if it's not a new IP, I want something new. What a waste of the new SSD to just shove us out another remaster. I'll be disappointed. Although they're very much the thing at the moment.
Yeah, but if you look at let's look at the Mafia 1 trailer we've seen, Crash Bandicoot remakes. When they do them to such a high level, it is like a new game. I'm trying to think but another example.
Gameplay mechanics have come on so far. Crash Bandicoot looks like a new game, but it's into the screen platforming and side-scrolling platforming. No. Come on, give me something new, please.
Okay, I probably agree. I'd rather see something new. But anyway, that's the news.
As a bonus, I'll take it as look what we've been working on. No, that's last year's homework, just coloured in with crayon. I don't think so. Well, that draws us to a close. Did we miss anything? Do you have an opinion or take on the news we missed? If so, Tom, how did the collected masses get in touch with us and let us know that the film, everyone knows that the film that's getting played in Fortnite is blah, and Christopher Nolan's now on the Reggie show and Phil Zamey's now got an avatar in Fortnite. You're both talking out your backsides. You don't know even what a game is. How dare you even host a podcast, you scum-sucking pig.
Well, if they feel like giving us some abuse, they can direct messages on Instagram or Twitter. You can email us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. And we also have a Discord chat, which is linked through our Instagram account. Just follow the link tree and you can get onto our Discord. Come and join some very like-minded people. A nice, friendly place to talk about video games and everything else in the world. So come and join us.
Games.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to be moving into the feature very shortly. But yeah, just
we're
want
in
to
it
say
now.
Just before we start, I would just say a massive thank you. Obviously, video game news and stuff is a little slim on the ground at the minute. Obviously, big announcements are coming over the next few months.
This is possibly the 50-second show anniversary that never was, that can now be 2 episodes late.
So we thought we'd do a little feature of the question and answer session. We were a bit worried we're a bit worried no one would really sort of take it seriously, but you've really impressed us with your questions and actually taking the time to think about what you want to ask, and we're really privileged and honoured to answer these.
It's time to pull the veil back on the show.
It is, yeah.
And our lives, Tom.
This is your life with me, Michael. What was his name? Michael Aspel.
Yeah. Well done. Surprised you didn't call him Michael Aspirin. If this was the Farmerton days, we would have just come up with a new character, wouldn't we? But we're in the realism era now, or kind of. We're about to find out.
Michael Redbook or something like that.
Yeah, we're about to find out how realistic the realism era actually is. So we asked the questions.
Right, are we ready?
Yeah, I'll take the first one. It's from Comic Pictures 79, a.k.a. Adam the Artist. He does our art for us on the show. So if you want a T-shirt or whatever. Oh, wait, Tom. Oh, no, I forgot. While we're doing this feature, we normally do it at the beginning, but we'll do it now because I've just seen his name and it's reminded me. He sends me reminders when the month's up and I always forget. You need to pick a winner. I personally think a man that's been contributing quite a lot to the questions page is C. Pliskin, don't you?
Yeah, he's had some great comments. He's posted.
Congratulations, C. Pliskin. You've won yourself a T-shirt or a print of your choice. It doesn't have to be Unofficial Controller. Literally anything on Adam's page, I think, is within bounds. So Get in touch with Comic Pictures 79. C. Pliskin, congratulations. Don't get too disheartened,
well
all
done,
the listeners, because it's a monthly prize for best comment. So keep the content high. Keep it coming. Anyway, so he's on Etsy, /Comic Pictures, no space. And he's asking this question, Tom. I'm wondering, aside from gaming, how you're filling your time just now. I know you're working remotely, but are there any books, TV shows, or movies that have grabbed your attention? I know Tom's been baking, and to be honest, I want him to send me a loaf. Heart-filled eyes emoji.
If only it would stay fresh in the post. I have been thinking of something I could
send him a picture so he can print it, how I do it. Then he can eat that paper.
I love it.
Tastes the same.
I reckon cookies would last long enough in the journey up to Scotland.
Not those cookies you're having in... Well, we're taking the veil off. Not those sorts of cookies, Tom.
Okay. Do you want me to answer first?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I'm back to work, which I'll discuss what I do, because that's one of the other questions we've got further down the line, but I'm back to work. It's quite strange out there. The roads are quieter. For what I do, it makes some of my work a little bit easier. As for what I've been doing with spare time, me and my wife have got a little boy, so we're very flat out with him a lot of the time. And obviously we don't have our support network here. We can just sort of have babysitters or just help with just general stuff in life, which is a shame. So she does really well looking after him 24/7. I tend to take over on the weekends. Other than that, we try and find time to watch some movies, TV series. Been watching Ricky Gervais's Afterlife. It's quite nice, funny and sort of sweet. I watched a documentary on The Undertaker called The Last Ride, which was, if you're a fan of that era of wrestling, it's really interesting. It's actually about his sort of last 5 years that he's done and how he's struggling physically, and it's a really good in-depth look at how, even though it's deemed as fake, they put their bodies through a hell of a lot of punishment for people's entertainment. So if you're interested in that, it's well worth seeking out. It's on WWE Network, but I struggled to find anywhere to stream that or to purchase it. So I watched it on YouTube. What else? Books. I've been reading a few workbooks, like woodland management, stuff like that. Not very interesting to anyone else, but it's improving knowledge for work. Playing, obviously, video games. Baking, yeah, that's taken up a bit of time. Just doing odd jobs around the house. Home improvements, building things. Yeah, just been quite a nice time on furlough, I must admit. Quite lucky to be sort of spend that time with my little boy. And just, catching up on life. And for those weeks that I was off, it was nice to slow down a bit in life. That's about me on that, yeah.
Okay, we'll pick them off one at a time. Books. I've not been reading any books, unless Mean Machine Sega magazines in the mid-90s count.
Or Minecraft Journal, maybe.
I've had a quick look in the Minecraft. I've got quite a few Minecraft books. Sometimes I need to just research because, as I've said before, it's a terribly difficult game. I've been doing the stream, talking to Minecraft. That's a couple of hours a night. TV shows, I don't know. TV shows have just died to me. There used to be a way and a routine I had for watching TV shows, but it's not presenting itself to me anymore. Movies, I normally put a movie on to go to sleep with these days. I don't watch more than the first 10 minutes, and I put the TV on to timer mode. Very 80s thing to do. But I haven't really watched anything that stand out. I'll blast through the Marvel films. I'll stick a Star Wars on. I've got an obsession with the movie Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. Talking of that, I've been cleaning up and getting out my old VHSs. Some have gone missing over the years. And managed to get a job lot, very local, very cheap on eBay. I've talked about them before. on a previous episode, and I've been cataloguing those. I've been getting my retro games out, which were in storage. I've just been, to be honest, I've just been playing a lot of video game. I have to admit, for a video game podcast host, it's practically a crime to play a video game. That's ultimately what's moved to fill some of the voids that have appeared in my life. Got a lot of time for that. Other than that, I've been spending time with the kids. Not as much as I would like, but other than that, working from home seems to take up quite a lot of the time. Seems to be a lot of conference calls for whatever reason, just to make sure we're awake. Yeah.
Do you? I was going to ask you this question because obviously you're someone I know who works from home at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're doing a question within a question, but I just wanted your idea on this. It's like when people start going back to normal, going back to work.
Yeah.
With like climate change being a big deal and pollution and stuff, do you feel like because of the majority of pollution, I believe, comes from air travel, and cars and motor vehicles. Do you think like you could cope with just going into the office a couple of times a week and doing everything else from home? Because you in theory, you're going to massively.
It's like, listen, the industry that I'm in, there's an expectation you need to get in your car. Working means getting in your car, driving a certain distance, and sitting and talking to someone. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that started to take place over the internet, and thank goodness, because it was a completely pointless exercise just to make it was busy work, and because maybe for the last 30, 40 years, that's how maybe this had gone down. That's how we had to do it. We've got to pay our dues. Get in your car and sort your guts out.
Yeah.
If you get back before a certain time, you're a weakling. I thought it was a little bit weird. I think that ultimately, it's going a little bit off topic here, but I know there's older cars on the road, but the majority of cars are within about 10 years old. I would say the bulk of cars on the road are 10 to 15 years old. They're actually very clean. I think a lot of the pollution is coming from different sources, but no one likes to stare the horse in the mouth when they're jetting off on a plane to Spain for their holiday. They don't want to let that go, do they? You're up in the stratosphere pouring jet fumes out. The jet engine's not very efficient at all.
No, I think there's lots to look at, isn't there? And no one should have the ability to travel taken away from them, because years and years ago it was only available to the very, very wealthy, and it's nice that everyone can go, I'm going on holiday next week.
What I'm looking forward to is the fact that there's my old man once came out with someone said to him, where are you going on holiday this year then? Going abroad. And he turned around and he went, there's no point going abroad when there's absolutely hundreds of different places in this country I've never seen myself. It's like, you don't know your own backyard, yet you're jetting off to sound like some sort of an egotist. I've done a gap year in Mali. Oh, really? You don't know where Bournemouth is, or so to speak. You don't know where Bognor Regis is, and you've not seen the Peak District. And there's an interesting generation out there that have seen more of other countries than they've seen of their own. And I think there's some places of real natural beauty in every country that that our listeners live in, and in the UK and America, that you don't have to travel that far to find somewhere that will set your jaw on the floor. On lockdown, I've been, doing some running and walking and biking, and you can't go as far. And I've stumbled across new routes and locations I didn't even know were there. And I've grown up in this area. So incredible.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We digress.
We better move on to the next question.
Yeah.
But thanks, Comic Pictures. Your input's always greatly appreciated. I'll take the next one if you want.
Yeah.
Road to Thinnemy's been in touch. He says, what was the first gaming console or PC that you had? Fire emoji.
No, there's another emoji you missed out.
thumbs up and then 2 fire emojis.
Well, I think I've talked about this on air, but we'll talk about it again. My first... It depends if this counts. My first ever gaming machine I had my hands on was a Pong clone, and you had indentations on the front of it that you put marbles in, silver marbles to keep score, because it was so much a basic Pong clone, it couldn't even put the score up on the screen. So if you got the ball past your opponent, you moved this little silver marble along to register as 1 point. I mean, we've seen... I also had... I think this came after, but my first personal computer, I suppose, was a Commodore VIC-20 I got. My parents were determined to try and make me a programmer, but that obviously didn't work out. So a VIC-20. I also had a little grandstand Firefox game that my uncle loaned to me, probably much at his disgrace, and I ended up keeping. That was like a little Star Wars clone. I've still got one now, actually. I haven't got the original. It might be at my mum and dad's. But not so long ago, a friend of mine who collects toys and games brought it round and was like, do you want this? It was boxed. And I was like, yep. Yeah, I want that. And it's very basic. It's an LCD screen. If we're talking my first ever proper console, and again, we've talked about this recently, after the VIC-20 came an Atari ST, which I still have a lot of affection for that machine. I suppose that's the one that had its biggest effect on me. And what followed after that was a Super Nintendo. I suppose you could class that as technically my first console.
Very good.
What about you? Questions on you?
Again, I think we've probably talked about this in one episode or another. From really hazy memory, I remember opening a box of cassettes and thinking, I've got some music cassettes, and then realised they weren't. They were for... I really can't... I'm struggling to remember. I think you've helped me out. It's probably a ZX Spectrum, maybe.
Maybe.
It was cassette-based anyway. But my first console was the Mega Drive. I got that one Christmas with Golden Axe and Sonic 1. Loved it, and made me a massive fan of Sega. So, yeah. That was my first console.
Great question, Stephen. Thank you. Talking of the young buck, he's finally scared all the old bulls back up to the top field, Tom. He's come snorting down with fire and brimstone coming out of his ringed nostril. The young buck, C. Pliskin, recent winner of this month's prize. So get in touch with Comic Pictures and or me on Instagram. Or C. Pliskin, are you in the Discord? Because if you're not, you need to be. He says, what helped you to start making the show, and how did you convince each other to work regularly on a generally unproven idea? I'm busy on a near 2-year-old project and looking for some help pulling my idea through. Oh, crikey, this could get deep, Tom.
It's a great question.
As always, he asks the best questions to C. Pliskin, doesn't he?
Yeah, I read the question when it was posted and sort of got me thinking, but do you want to kick off?
Yeah,
because it was kind of your idea, so I think
we'll go full deep. Last year, I had a bit of a dark patch in my life, and I had to take some time out to generally reassess my life and everything like that. Work were fabulous about it ultimately, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I'd had some things going on in my life, which we won't labour on too much, that had finally caught up with me. And during this sabbatical, I thought about maybe indulging one of our passions. Me and Tom often call each other on the phone call each other on the phone and talk about video games. And we've often threatened that, that's practically a podcast, what we do, what you've been playing. End up going deep on an idea that one of us comes up with, and then to ask each other what we're hoping to play, and that's really how that happened. My ability to get Tom to commit to an improving idea, lie to him about the audience figures, tell him that stick with me, Rodney, next week we'll be a millionaire kind of
you
scenario.
You literally are the devil boy to my Rodney, aren't you?
I couldn't do it without you. I like to think that it's the chemistry now that they're into, pulling the veil down. I generally enjoy talking to you. on a weekly basis about video games. And even if at one point in time it was not recorded, I'd imagine we'd still call each other on a weekly basis and talk about video games. So heck, if people still want to hear it, I'll still click record. You're busy on a 2-year-old project and looking for some help pulling my idea through. You've sometimes what I would say is you can prepare. I've said this on the stream not so long ago. If you're saving up to have kids, you'll never have kids because you'll never have enough. Sometimes if you want to do something, you just got to throw yourself in, boots first, learn as you go, get in on the ground, solve the problems as they come up instead of writing a spreadsheet about what problems might be. Oh, well, what if this happens? Well, what if it does? It'd be a good problem to have when it's going.
You're definitely the soups, aren't you, to my Batman? I do the prep time. I want to do everything. Like, I've got to prep that. I've got to do this right. You're like, I've got to go do that now. And you get it done. So
pony up, get some mic sport, get a producer on the phone, the whole bag of tricks. Yeah, well, I think that's it, really. I mean, I don't know. Tom, can you add any more to that? Whatever it is you're doing, C. Pliskin, have faith and double down. If you've put 2 years in, you're parakeet. Unbelievable. 2 years. 2 years in, he needs to get that. He needs to get some wheels on that and push it down the hill. I'm excited to know what it is, C. Pliskin. You've always supported the show, so we'd love to support you in what you're doing. Yeah, we've got a great bunch of people who will help each other out, and we're really grateful to them, and I hope they're the same with us. To that end, about promoting things. They hang out in the Discord. There's a section there to promote called Shameless Self-Promotion, where we implore people to go and put their stuff up, don't we? So please get on there. But going back to the original question, you've always taught me into stuff like the true Dale boy that you are. And I think I just, obviously, the time in the life you were going through, I've always read that having a sort of positive project to focus on can see you through a lot, and I completely agree with that. I think it's hopefully given us both some focus in life. It's probably helped me with how I talk and deal with people at work. You're in an industry that's very much like face to face talking to people, and you show you've got fantastic communication skills, and the way you talk, you can see that in the stream, how natural you are with that. So I feel like it's actually helped me in that aspect of my life. It's nice to hear listener feedback sometimes from the earlier episodes as well, where they sort of say, oh, well, Tom's talking a bit more now, whereas I was a little bit mute to start with. And then it kind of snowballed, didn't it? Like, we got talking and we did a few rough cuts and episodes, and we started with the Farmerton thing, and that was series 1. And we're like, I love coming up with the ideas. That's what I enjoy, and like writing stuff down. And I think, we cover all the bases between us quite well. And when one feels tired, the other pulls the other one up. So if the plastic surgery allowed, I would be crying tears, but I cannot. I was going to say, I'm almost ready to have a ball, but we'll move on. We better move on before it all gets a bit, this is your life, don't we? I'll take the next one. I call him God because he's got more platinums than you can possibly even imagine. He's Chronicles of a Gamer. We know him quite dearly now as Bobby. Can you fly, Bobby boy? He says, what do you guys do for a living? What, if any, game gets you emotional when you play it? Doesn't have to be based on story, could be from childhood. Do you have any regrets? 3 questions. Only God can come in and sneak 3 questions under the radar, friend, can't he? So, First one, what do you guys do for a living? Tom? As a few of you know, I'm a forestry and arborist contractor, or work for a firm. I work with a really good bunch of lads, and we have a laugh, but we crack on and sort of have a fairly good reputation, I'd like to think. I'm a manager there and been there for 10 years or so.
It's tough sometimes. The weather's really hard in winter. Summer is summer as well, occasionally, especially with like the hot days of the year. But yeah, I do enjoy it. It gets me out and about. I work in the countryside a lot, obviously, cutting down trees. I do plant them as well, so don't hate on me too much. I've probably reduced my carbon footprint a million times over. But yeah.
Like the Mr. Beast, have you planted a million trees, have you?
Not quite that many. Probably about 100,000 overall, I'd say, top of my head. But yeah, I enjoy it. I'll probably keep doing it for a while yet. Unless you can offer me the bigger bucks, George, with the podcast, but we'll...
Well, you know what the saying, field of dreams, Tom, build it and they will come. So
they do, yeah. So yeah, I'm going to keep persevering with that. Hopefully one day maybe go into instructing chainsaw work and various stuff like that. That'd be nice. A little bit more hands off because I've had quite a bad back injury, fractured my back and have a herniated disc, which sometimes causes me a little bit of discomfort. And yeah, that's what I do for a living. Do you want me to answer the second ones and then the third, and then you do your
let's both answer.
Okay, yeah,
and
that's
we'll
good.
do each bit at a time. So, what
Sounds
do I
good.
do for a living? I work for. If you really want to know the full ins and outs, Bobby, personal message me on the Discord, but I can't really leave it out on here. But I work for a major European global vehicle manufacturer, looking after the corporate sales, so large mega fleets here and in Europe and vice versa. If they've got like a business in Europe and they've got a satellite company in the UK, I deal with those, their vehicle needs and wishes and in life and all sorts of probably quite boring stuff, Bobby, if I'm honest with you, but it's good. They've been very good to me. Through fair means or foul, I've kind of been in with them and representing the brand for quite a long time now. So, yeah, can't argue. Been very kind to me. Like I say, they're supporting me with my sabbatical, and that was very kind of them. So, yeah, and that got the show up and running. So without them, there would be no this, and therefore there would be no us. So
I think we in the ideal world would love to do this full time, but like I say, you got to have dreams, and we'll keep persevering and see how we get on.
Let me ask you, if you're listening to this, have you told a friend? Have you shared it all over your Facebook, your Instagram? Help 2 lonely losers with bad facial hair achieve their lifelong dream. We keep bashing the content out week in, week out. If nothing else, if it raises a smile in a small subsect of the world somewhere, I'd like to think we're doing a good job.
Yeah, me too.
His next part of his question: what, if any, game gets you emotional when you play it?
Oh, that's a good question. I think sometimes if I hear the Ocarina of Time intro, those of you who played it will know, it just makes me mega nostalgic. Emotional wise, I'd probably say Red Dead Redemption 2 is the most emotional.
What I would say as well.
Yeah, I think the graphics and story writing have got to that level now where they work so well together. Last of Us 1 has some sort of pretty strong story, emotional beats there.
Yeah, it doesn't make you want to bawl your eyes out, though. It certainly doesn't me.
No, I know, like, when Arthur Morgan gets, like, diagnosed with TB, you're like, oof, that's brutal. Because you're starting to realise, like, he's actually, like, a really interesting character.
Yeah. I think RDR2, it's got... I mean, yeah, we talked the wheels off of that game, but that would get me emotional. I suppose I was quite sort of touched at the end of the game.
I think your dog getting shot in Fable 2.
Yeah, that was quite. We both got sort of emotional about that. There's been times in Minecraft, I have to admit, where I've you craft this story and you put this effort into keeping something alive. It's quite hard to keep yourself alive, as the viewers of the stream, many of them listen to the show, know. It ain't easy. And keeping not only yourself alive, but a pixelated pooch at the same time is pretty tough, especially when you get a habit of getting in the wrong place at the wrong time. Other than that, I was going to say there's another game. There's another couple of games that have got a bit of a unique tie-in for me. F-19 Stealth Fighter that I used to play with my dad, and Microprose F1 Grand Prix I used to play with my dad. They would get me quite emotional, I suppose. Playing through Red Dead Redemption with my dad was a great moment. He watches the streams, but he doesn't listen to this podcast, so he just doesn't know how much he means to me, does he? I've told him.
Oh, yeah.
In the Living Years, that's a great song. If no one's ever heard of it, you ought to check it out.
Yeah.
You ought to take the time.
I can't listen to it. I can't.
Can't you?
It's too tough.
Oh, crikey.
And my dad's still around, so yeah, that's definitely one I avoid. It's a great song, but yeah. Anyway, I think there's probably loads more that I could think of, but would require like me looking back through what I've played over the years. Playing stuff with you and my brother in like co-op has always been fun, especially like local. If you're talking different emotions, like I have a right laugh if sort of had friends around and we played Super Smash Bros on the Switch. It's just a great laugh and just good memories. And always I always hope couch co-op's a thing with friends and family that you enjoy spending time with. It's a good way of bonding. But like we're good examples of that. So don't go too hard on your kids if they're playing video games a bit. Just make sure it's not all the time, because it's a good way of bonding. Next part of his question:
do you have any regrets?
Oof, I don't know. I'm sure everyone has little ones, but no, I'm mega. I don't know whether many people can say this, but I'm really content with what I have.
I'm more content now. There was a time where I did have a lot of regrets and some dark times in my life, and I often look back and think you could have done that better. But in recent years, I've decided there's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can do about it. So you can't beat yourself up every day. That's no existence, is it? So regrets sometimes in the past, I probably could have committed harder to stuff, work, life, other stuff. Like, yeah, of course I could. But, I've always been of the mindset until recently, 100% effort is you literally bleeding from every pore, having poured absolutely everything into everything that you can do. And I don't think anybody can turn around and say, I gave that 100% effort. I literally nearly killed myself to achieve it. And so when I look back at parts of my life quite judgmentally, it's like, we could have tried harder there. And it's like, I had to have someone sit me down and be like, George, that's not a healthy way to look at stuff, mate.
No,
like,
it's all a learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, and at the time, we all wake up and we feel a bit lazy and we're trying to get away with doing the least that we can or putting the least effort in we can. But if you don't want to live with regrets, I suppose you've got to work or love and live like you're bleeding out of every pore of your body. But it's not sustainable, and it needs to be reciprocated as well. So regrets, I've had a few. And now I face my final curtain. No more regrets for me.
Yeah.
Although, easy to understand why. So we haven't heard from a while, Tom. Bite my pixel. Evening, chaps. Sorry I've been a bit quiet. His question is, would you do an episode on older gamers?
Yeah, this got me thinking. So thanks for the idea, which mate.
He says he's only asking because he's an old fart laughing till he cries emoji X4.
Yeah, I think this got me thinking of a feature. Little things throughout my day or whatever, or comments like that can sort of snowball and get my brain. We are doing behind the scenes, so we have a little WhatsApp group, don't we, where we just chuck in all our ideas, like literally random words sometimes, if like we could build something around that. So on the subject of older gamers, I think it'd be nice to do the way older gamers view video games industry and how younger ones do as well, and the comparisons. So I think, there's something there.
I'd be interested in that, because obviously we're of the age, or I'm of the age, where video games barely really even kind of existed in anything that you would even term a video game now. I remember going to my dad's work as a child, and there was a whole room dedicated to like a mainframe to keep these things working in the computer. So basically just Excel spreadsheets that would tell you where different vehicle parts were located. But hidden in that was a mini game that was only really developed to help you learn how to use the keyboard, because people were so alien to it. I think you were moving a guy. It was very basic. He loaded it up for me once, and you could move a guy around, and he sort of collected things falling out the sky. But I'd imagine if you saw it now, you'd be like, what even is that? You know, is that a game? Like, yeah, kind of. So I feel quite lucky that I've grown and had a device that's allowed me to go through every single generation of computer games to the one that we're at now. And I've often been intrigued to wonder if I'd got on with video games as like PS2 or PS3 or PS4 even as my base level of like, that's what a video game is. What would my opinion of video games be?
Yeah, it's a great point. And I think that's something we could discuss on an episode about older gamers and the way
that's
we see
just blown
things.
Off the content.
Yeah.
Scratch that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add that we sometimes we need to not judge on things like Fortnite, and we look at Fortnite how probably our parents would have looked at GoldenEye or something like that. Oh, they're on that all the time, they're addicted to it, blah blah blah. And you've got to remember, it's a social way of people interacting. Like, ours was different. We weren't online, so that's quite a massive thing we need to probably look at if we did it as a feature. But yeah, I think as older gamers, we maybe ought to be a little bit more observant about and patient, and not too judgmental of the way it's going, as long as there's always that core sort of story single player video game around, I think.
Well, I remember my old dad would come and he'd listen to some music that I had on and be like, that's not music, boy. And I'll go and look at this, a video game, and I'll be like, that's not a video game. But then I'll sit down and I'll play Fortnite. I'll be like, that's actually all right. I'm not going to say it's rubbish, because it's not. And that's the reason why
it's not built for our tastes. It was never designed for people of our age.
I reckon it can have its grips. It can have it can get its grips into anyone with that one more. I'll have one more game ability. Yeah, whether you're on voice chat in duos or not, it kind of has got that. Oh, I was nearly there that time.
I'd argue that with like Mario, or like the latest 3D Mario. Obviously, they're thinking of like a certain age bracket. They probably chuck a few nostalgic things into mind, but the core design is always going to trying to appeal to a new generation. Because if you don't get the new generation, the older one's only going to sort of be around for so long. They've got to keep the ideas fresh to target new consumers. So that's my take on it. Why sometimes maybe as older gamers we seem a bit alienated by new ideas. But yeah, it's about sitting down and maybe having a look at them and going, actually, yeah, like you said, that's quite good. So, yeah, thanks for the question.
Next question. Do you want to take this one? It's Boba Loba.
Yeah, Boba Loba, thanks for the question. What has been your most outrageous, stupid, regretful gaming purchase, either self-confessed or judged by others? Ooh, I think we've both got some shame piles of tat somewhere.
That's Mike. You're asking me. Outrageous, most stupid, regretful gaming purchase. Well, outrageous. I think some of the most outrageous things I've done is trading I've always been very respectful of my stuff, clean it, look after it fastidiously. And growing up, there was always that era of taking my full box mint SNES collection and trading it in for a PS. I had a box mint complete Game Boy and a load of box mint games as well in the cardboard boxes, which you don't even really see then or now. And I traded all of that big pile in for a PS1 and Destruction Derby, which was stupid and regretful, but I wouldn't have had the access to the next console if I hadn't done it. So as far as most outrageous, I don't know. I mean, I got into the retro or rebought a lot of my old consoles or ones I always wanted when they were still car boot fodder. Regretful gaming purchase. I've bought a Jaguar twice, possibly more, and hated it every single time. I first bought a Jaguar in between, I think I had a SNES and wanted something more powerful. And I went into the shop and they had one for like £74, and that should have been a warning in itself. And I got it in Cybermorph. And if anyone's seen the Angry Video Game video of Cybermorph, you know what a terrible game it was. And I also managed to get hold of a copy of a game called Checkered Flag, which makes Virtua Racing on the Mega Drive look like a technical marvel, not only in gameplay, but graphics as well. It was absolute dog poo. And then in about 2014, I would say, I saw a Jag and it was in mint condition. Jaguar, Atari Jaguar. I saw a Jag in mint condition on Facebook for about 50 quid. And I thought, yeah, I'll get that. And I went and picked it up and brought it home and plugged it in, because I always want to play the games I've got. I don't want to just box it and stash it away for the sake of it. I think that's a bit strange, because they are games. And within about an hour of having this Jag, I realised that I'd made that fateful mistake, and I'd repurchased a steaming pile of absolute dog poop, and wished I hadn't. I think there's been other games that I've probably bought, hyped, and brought home, and then realised they weren't quite what they're advertised to be. A friend, I was in the Navy, British Royal Navy, for a spell, and me and this lad had a game on there that we picked up in this Spanish gaming shop. Obviously, it was a European edition, so it had English speaking on it as well. You just selected it when you loaded it up, and the ship we're on had a couple of PCs. They weren't that powerful, but they were powerful enough for you to play games on, to book time and go down there. So we would book time, we'd go to the little shop on board and we'd buy a chocolate bar. I used to get a booster, a Star Bar, and we'd take a cup of tea down there and play this game called Sea Dogs. And it was I think it was by Bethesda or ZeniMax or someone. And it was a pirate game. It was better than Black Flag, but it was complete glitchy and broken. But we had so much fun with it. We really did. And then this is all links, but hear me out. We also were in Turkey, and there's obviously, if anyone's ever been to Turkey, there's loads of like counterfeit goods. And we found this, we'd got into our little naval history and this game, and we were like, oh, Sea Dogs is all right, but we want something a bit better. And we stumbled across this Age of Sail game at this Turkish market. And I brought it back, and it was just in a loose CD paper wallet, and the disc had a label printed on it. And I had it in my pocket. Climbing around a Navy ship isn't exactly like a cruise ship. It's not that easy to move around. And we set sail again, and we booked our time in the Geek Shack, as it was called. And I put this game in my back pocket, and then climbed out of the hole that we lived in, the sleeping area, and without thinking, just plonked my arse down to swing my legs out. And I just heard this crack, and I was like, no. Tell me that's not Age of Sail or whatever it is. And I pulled it out. It was just broken. I mean, knowing our luck, it was a blank CD anyway, but the shame I carried around for breaking that was immense. So we had to go back to Sea Dogs. And this links to, I don't know if it's outrageous, stupid, or regretful, but Sea Dogs 2 was going to be coming out, but they obviously couldn't get much traction for Sea Dogs 2. So Bethesda somehow managed to get hold of the Pirates of the Caribbean license. So on original Xbox, Sea Dogs 2 was actually called Pirates of the Caribbean. Except when you played it, it was nothing like the film at all. It was just a continuation of Sea Dogs, and it was absolutely flipping terrible. Other than that, have I regretted any other console I've owned? No. I'm sure that regretful is probably the Jag. Stupid. I don't think I've got any really. Some could say some of the tap that I've got stupid, like the Mega CD, but I love the Mega CD. I've only got one game for the 32X, which I'm looking to remedy, which is Star Wars Arcade. And I think that's a great game on there as well. It's full of nostalgia, but yeah. What do you reckon?
I have a bit of a rep. Can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure I'm not muted my mic again.
Yeah, no, you can. Yeah, I can hear you.
Every time I slurp my drink, I want to make sure I'm on mute just to be polite. Mic etiquette, everyone.
Wow.
If you're online gaming, you never slurp read down the mic. It's just not right.
Okay.
Anyway,
I would.
That's one of my regrets if I've done that in the past. So apologies to people of Battle for Middle Earth 2 if I've troughed a.
You used to play that game half cut. I'm sure you've slurped all sorts of stuff.
I did, yeah. Oh, mate, yeah. I'd get in absolutely hammered from a night out and be like, I'm going to play a game of Battle for Middle Earth. I am a nerd, a definite nerd. So yeah, I have a bit of a bad rep with George growing up. Like I'd recommend and hype things to like a whole nother level, especially video games, and then convince him, knowing full well he probably wouldn't enjoy it, to buy it, so he could, mainly games that we could play together. Oh
yeah, here's a regret. 2 regrets.
Still doing it now, like Overwatch. There's an example.
Scum.
I do regret that sometimes. I'll coax people into, mainly George, into getting stuff, and I'm like, I hope they enjoy that. But by the time they've got it, especially with you, I'm passing them on to the next thing I'm hyped about or wanting to do.
Let me re-go back and then say the Wii U.
Yeah, that's one of my big regrets.
It's one that you hyped me into, and I hated every single minute of owning one. And the 3DS. I think. Oh no, I like my 3DS. I don't regret. I thought it was terrible.
The Wii U, it did have the odd few good games, but overall, I could have quite happily, if you erase that from my gaming memory, I'd be like, don't miss it. It's a good little machine, but it's just, it wasn't for me, and it wasn't for us, was it? I think we're just mega
I'd buy one now to replace the Wii in the kids' room, but
yeah,
and they've got a Switch now and other bits and bobs. I think I'd get it. Yeah. They can play all the Wii games on it that they've got. They can get some of the other games like Mario Kart 8. You'll
probably hate me, but I probably regretted buying the PSP, and I traded it very shortly after getting it. But I remember when I bought it, I got it at launch, and there was not that much available for
That's how I felt with the 3DS.
Yeah.
I bought it in a game I'd completed 14 years earlier.
But yeah, I think that's about it for me. I probably bought like some proper random stuff. I bought the Donkey Kong Bongo game, and I was kind of like, that was fun for a few goes, and then into the pile. I used to have quite a big game collection, and went through a phase of collecting some retro stuff, but I could never decide on what I wanted to collect for. I think that's probably important. It's like try and focus on one console, or what, maybe one like company, like Sega, Nintendo, Sony, whatever. So yeah, that's my answer for that. Shall we take another one?
Yeah, Finster Gamer. Up. Oh, you read it out. Yeah.
Sorry, Mo. Yeah, I've got it up on the screen. That's all. Finster Gamer. What are your go-to home? What are your go-to home ground versus games? By that I mean, if someone challenged you and you got to pick the game, what are you most confident that you're competent at? That's cool. I like that.
What one-player game can I challenge someone to?
So I'd probably say I'm fairly competent on Street Fighter. I can hold my own on that. First-person shooters. Yeah, I think I'm okay at stuff. I've never professed to be an amazing gamer, and you're doing the Pinocchio nose to me, aren't you? Yeah, I'll go with Street Fighter. I'd like to think if I have to choose one.
I can't pick a game to say because I get most of my enjoyment out of one-player games. I'll say Atari ST. If you want to challenge me to a game of Microprose, Jeff Crammond's Microprose Grand Prix, I'll see you there. 2-time world champion, as far as me and my dad are concerned. Driving aids off. Other than that, I've got a little story here where one of my old workmates at one point in time, we used to collect games and talk about gaming and stuff. And he used to say to me at work, any game, any console, I can beat you. And we ended up at a mutual friend's house, and another mutual friend was there, and he said, any game, any console, Andy? And he was like, yeah, any game, any console.
I love that.
So all of a sudden, the only game this lad had was like MotoGP on the original Xbox, which he got put in. And I was a bit nervous because I thought, oh, crikey, I don't really play motorbike games.
That was a phenomenal looking game, by the way.
It was.
I had that.
And I thought, I don't really play motorbike games. I don't really know this guy's credential as a gamer, and he seems very confident with his any game, any console. And he talked about some of the games he had finished, like Metal Gear Solid 3 and other things. And I was like, crikey, this guy's obviously a
mind
gamer.
Game straight away.
And I absolutely owned him. And I barely stayed on the track. So if that gives you an idea of the display that I was witness to. Other than that, like I say, probably Jeff Crammond's Microprose Grand Prix of anything of the modern era. What am I handy at, Tom? No Mercy? Thing is, I haven't played it for long. I don't reckon. I used to play all those games: WCW versus NWO, Revenge, and then whatever the sequel was.
We've had some great rivalries over the years, haven't we? With us and other family members of like the hour-long ladder match at Christmas and various racing games, just trying to beat each other's time trials. But yeah, a lot of the time we just used to sit and wow a new single player game as one of us like showed it off to the other and recommended.
Yeah, we'd go around and sit there for a tech demo. It's quite often when I turn a game on, I like look at it. When a new game comes out or a new console comes out, I'll just sit and look at it. I don't even want to press the buttons. I did it with Red Dead. I did it with GTA 4. I'd get in a train, wouldn't I? I'd get in the cab, and I would just look at the graphics. What are you telling me? You decided you're good at a game now.
I got to a good level on Battle for Middle-earth to a point where I could play 2v1s. So if they ever fire that up on the Xbox 360 again, if they put it on Games Pass, I'd probably buy an Xbox One Series X just to play that.
Phil Spencer, if you're listening,
if it was backwards compatible.
It's probably not his name anymore, is it?
If it was backwards compatible, I'd be there. And if they got the servers up and running again, I could school a lot of people on that.
Okay. Let's move on.
We're better. Do you want to take the next one? Because it's to do with you.
I can't ask myself it, can I?
George, do you feel guilty for blaming Doggy McWayne for the death of Scrappy Doo, the crime he did not commit?
Who's that question from? You amateur.
That's from Toxis.
Okay, Toxis. No, I don't feel any guilt. My in-game Minecraft persona might feel some guilt. I do feel a little bit guilty, but it was only watching it back that I realised I just clipped him. It must have been a pixel, by the way. Must have just been a half a pixel clip that started the domino-like effect that knocked Doggy McWayne into Scrappy Doo. Sorry. It's another stake in the ground, I'm sure, before I finish the game, unless I keep them all trapped in a room to keep them safe, Toxis. There'll be quite a few more. But I hope not, because I'm trying to keep everybody alive from this point forward, including myself. 0 death stream. No deaths. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for the support, Toxis. And if Tanto's listening, thank you, Tanto.
Yeah, thanks for the question. We'll take, moving on, got another one from long-time listener, Dougie McBain.
Oh, hang on a minute. What's it like working with me, Tom, the killer of Doggy McWayne? How do you feel about
that? Well,
there's a lot of Doggy McWayne noise, isn't there?
Yeah. You just, I don't expect anything less. Brutal.
Oh, really? I'm the nice guy at the show.
You are. Yeah, so imagine how bad I am. There you go. Dougie McBain, who is your favourite game designer? The two that springs to my mind are Yu Suzuki and Hideo Kojima. John, need to go first?
No, I'll answer that. I mean, I would agree with you. I mean, Yu Suzuki, Hideo Kojima. I'd throw in Shigeru Miyamoto as well. I think we've all had.
Yeah.
I mean, the last game that touched me by any one of those was Hideo Kojima with Death Stranding. I mean, it's been a while since Yu Suzuki touched me. Shenmue 3, I need to go back and grind through that, and I will, and get it finished. But, that hasn't touched me. The last game that Shigeru Miyamoto was involved in that touched me was Ocarina, which is now getting to be a 20-year-old game. So Hideo Kojima seems to have the higher hit rate as far as that's concerned. I'd also like to throw a shout out to a game that I really got into when it launched on original Xbox was Bethesda's Morrowind. I thought that was great. It's probably my favourite Elder Scrolls out of all of them. And to that effect, I'd quite loosely throw Todd Howard. I know there's a lot of other people involved, but I think when Fallout first launched as well, Fallout 3, that had a significant impact on me as well. That was an incredible game and a hark back to how I felt, more to the Morrowind style. I certainly enjoyed it more. Other than that, there aren't really any standouts for me. Like I say, I think Hideo Kojima's legacy is probably slightly cleaner as regards to more adult content. Although Yu Suzuki, he's made some absolutely belting games, original 80s games, Outrun and all those classics that we all grew up with. And then in some people's eyes, and probably mine as well, at the time, a real crowning jewel. It's a bit of a Marmite game, but Shenmue. If you could take a time machine back to 1999 or 2000 and said to me, what's the best game? My answer would be Shenmue. Absolutely no question of a doubt. It had an effect on me then, and it had an effect on me for a long time. For many years, I would have always said, oh, that's my favourite game. It's unbelievable. You can't beat that for the emotional journey that you've been on. It's a bit wooden now, admittedly, but yeah. So I think those three names, they need to be at the forefront of everybody's mind as far as game design is concerned. They're the ones that had the most lasting impacts. A bit mainstream, but we've talked about some of the great series on this show. It's a great question, to be fair, Doug. It's got me thinking, to go dig out some of these games and see if... No, we'll stick with that. On you go, Tom. Your turn.
I think for me, Hideki Kamiya from... he's now at Platinum Games as director there, and he's done Devil May Cry. He worked on Resident Evil, Bayonetta. Yeah, very action-heavy orientated video game developer. I think he's stuff's really impressive and just strikes a chord with me, I suppose. It's like any artist, musician, filmmaker. Sometimes
I think we ought to slip an aside in there for the Rockstar boys as well.
Yeah, it's hard saying one developer. I was thinking about this question when I read it, and I was like, it's such a team effort, a video game a lot of the time. There are solo projects out there, so respect to a lot of people who have made them on their own. Yeah, Capcom, massive fan. Rockstar, Ubisoft to some extent. Some of the id Software. Another developer from, obviously I'm a massive Nintendo fan, is Eiji Aonuma, Zelda series, massively influential on that. I think he's working with a younger team now and letting them take the reins a little bit, which I think's helped a lot. I think towards the end of Skyward Sword, you can see the difference between that and Breath of the Wild, how much things have changed and how many fresh ideas are coming in. But he's also there amongst that, sort of keeping them on the right course. That great mixture of tradition and new ideas. So yeah, big fan of his, and he seems like a nice guy. When you see him interviewed, obviously it's always translated, but he's very smiling, classic sort of Japanese enthusiasm for the industry they work in. But yeah, that's it for me on that one.
Eslo and Midner, then, how do you manage to find time to play video games and produce a great podcast? The fact that it's a weekly podcast is incredible, so thank you, guys. I feel lucky if I get an hour in the evening to play games after everyone has gone to bed. And he has a supplement question there, a cheeky follow-up question. Who do you miss most from the Farmerton lore?
Let's get the Farmerton one out of the way, because that made me chuckle, actually, when I read it. Herr Crowther, I think we could have done loads with him. All these characters, some of them are influenced by people we grew up with, which makes that childhood sound very bizarre if you think about it. But I do miss Farmerton, and I'm sure one day we might take a bus ride there again from the studio, but who knows? And the fact that people got into the characters a little bit really meant a lot. It's in your head, you're thinking this is just a silly creation, bit of fun, but when you start thinking, and George tends to say I get carried away with the lore, and I do. I love that sort of creative side of it. It was great that it was well received, but yeah, probably Herr Crowther. But I miss all.
Well, like we say, if they play the cards right, the Christmas special, we might wheel out one or two of them.
I think a bus trip to Farmerton would be quite fun for the Christmas special. But yeah, we wanted to just move away from that a little bit and keep things fresh. But we do miss it. Yeah,
I think it would. I think, as a shame as it is, I know a lot of people here because they're in the Inglorious Bastards, but that's never going away. That's the hardcore fan community that find themselves on Discord. If you're there, you can call yourself Bastard. As far as I'm concerned, there's an inner circle, but you'll get pulled into it eventually, I'm sure. But get on the Discord, and I'm sure there were some sad eyes when Farmerton went, but it would have ended up being a pastiche of a pastiche, and it was starting to be a crutch for us, wasn't it? Where we could wheel out a week segment and bolt some Farmerton lore at the beginning and end of it, and we thought we'd done a good job, and we probably hadn't.
I think because we are going behind the scenes, and we'll be very clear on. I think the main reason was it would probably alienate a lot of new listeners, and we were picking them up. And I think it's hard for people to go back over that many episodes and think, I want to learn about this, but there's so much of it. And I think the way we were talking about it so casually, people tuning in for the first time, what are they talking about? So it's sometimes good to have a clean slate and start afresh, but it's always there. It's always there for everyone. And if people do want to catch up, then by all means do so. It's a harmless bit of fun, really. But we're glad it was, like I say, really.
Who do I miss most from the Farmerton lore? I miss the face mask unzip combination, the tag team combo of PCSO Ross Kemp and Retro Gamer Thomas. I know he messages in and he's going to be in here, but he's very much lost a lot of his menace since being unzipped from the boiler suit and having his face mask clamped. And I like the idea of him living in a back bedroom, nibbling on consoles as well, which I think came from one of my sort of bizarre mind ambles one episode. And the fact that Ross Kemp is a PCSO always tickled me. Oh, mate, yeah, that's pretty fun. Listen, if we ever get big enough to do a live show where there's bands, and it'll have to be cover bands. So a fake Take That, and a fake Oasis, and a fake Blur, and Beatles, or wherever we can afford. You buy a ticket, you come and camp for the weekend, and we're the headline.
Lionel Richie.
Yeah, Lionel Richie. And we'll do an hour or 2 hour show just as it normally is. And maybe we can lean quite heavily on the Farmerton law, the Farmerton Peace Fields, as you would call it, where we could have a festival. We've got to get to that size, haven't we? I don't want to sort of like, we'll do that next year. Like that's like 10 years.
There was still, there was still a lot of content there we could have done, and it was fun. Like I really enjoyed the courtroom battle, the art gallery look around with Neil Buchanan.
Yeah,
the stuff like that was really fun and stuff to write. So it's made the features harder, but we want to bring you sort of like really fact driven and research features.
Yeah, as I alluded to, we could sometimes get a bit lazy. And he talks about how we produce a weekly podcast, and it was very easy to write a paragraph of law, bolt a couple of facts in between, and then bolt another, and we're both guilty of it, bolt another paragraph of law on the back of it, and then we're into Stingray, and it's, sometimes we probably came through the show thinking, we got away with that. And we don't like to be disrespectful of your time, listeners, and we're uber grateful for the fact that you tune in on a weekly basis. So, Eslo says, how do you manage to do a weekly podcast? Well, more so to the fact, Eslo, thank you for tuning in on a weekly basis, because we're our harshest critic, and sometimes we probably come away from the mic feeling, oh, crikey. But we're here by the grace of God, aren't we?
Yeah. I think sometimes we've had audio issues as well, which couldn't be helped, or we're just not picked up on in the thing. It's all a learning curve. It does get really difficult sometimes to do the podcast. We'll both admit to that. Like, we both have very busy jobs, busy home lives. But you'll often find if you don't do something, you never, like you alluded to earlier, George, if you don't do it, you'll never do it. So we just have to persevere sometimes. Like this week, I'll shamefully admit, I was like, can we just have a bank holiday off?
No.
You see, no was the simple answer to that. And you steered me into the idea of the Q&A, which I actually thought was really good. And I struggle sometimes, especially with the little one. I need to sort of put some time in and help wife out, obviously. So it gets hard to write stuff, and you have pulled up a lot of the slack recently, which I appreciate.
Oof. Push me, pull you. When I'm slacking, you pull up, and when you're slacking, I pull up.
Hopefully so.
Done well. What does he say? The fact it's a weekly podcast is incredible. I feel I could get an hour to play games.
I feel the same sometimes. It's hard. I maybe sound like I'm just playing the same games over and over, but by the time I've done sort of cook tea and help get the little one down, and maybe if I had time, done some news for the show or help write the feature, you kind of like, I've got an hour to play some video games. But we try, and all of us in life, don't we? We try and find time for our hobbies, and I think it's important to do so. I think if you don't have any, it sounds cheesy, like some me time where you focus on your hobby and something you do. Everyone needs to do that, because otherwise your life will get on top of you. That's the only bit of advice I'll give from a very short-lived life so far, is that I have probably been greedy sometimes, gone, no, I'm not doing that. I want to play a video game, or I want to watch a movie. But if you don't do that, I think it will get on top of you if you push yourself too hard.
Okay. There's one from Mark Garage Gamers. He says, hiya, meant to send a question for the podcast, but only just remembered. Hope it's not too late. No, it's not. My question is, you can only own one console, an entire game catalogue for the rest of your days. What do you choose and why? Keep safe, friends.
This is a really hard question, because a lot of the time I'll feel nostalgic about a certain console that I had, and
I know
what was
the
going
answer
on
to
in my
mine
life.
straight away if you want time.
No, I'm just going to probably say the GameCube or the Xbox 360. I think if I had to choose, I'd go 360 because it had the online capabilities. And I think the vast library of games.
Which should be dead to you now.
Yeah, they would. But if we're going like saying, right, there you go, take away the fact of like anything coming in the future or whatever. I think if you take the current generation out of the equation, because I'd always go with the latest one. I would.
True.
I'm not.
Well, they know that, don't they? They know
yeah,
that.
Yeah. I think a lot of the listeners agree as well. I'd go 360.
Mine's a toss-up between...
You've got to choose one. I chose one.
Well, I'm tossing up now, and I'll decide before the end.
Okay.
Much like you with the 360, I've fallen in love with some of the PS3s. It was absolutely berated at launch, and it had a little bit of a rough life, but they managed to turn it around in the end. Some of the games I've enjoyed on there, like Yakuza and whatnot, and some of the hidden gems I've found have been absolutely first class. But the flip side of that coin, there's the Sega Dreamcast logo. And I've always said this, there's something about the blue, the white writing, or the logo on that blue. A great range of games. Everything covered. And to a good standard as well. The Dreamcast was one of those eras where the games still hold up to this day. Like I said to you, I've been playing NBA 2K, and it looks still like they've not got sweat, but it looks totally passable. Like when I played the NBA on the PlayStation 1, it was a bunch of badly arranged brown polygons or triangles, as the PlayStation 1 renders. But by the time the Dreamcast rolled around, things were looking really good. And it's got Metropolis on it. It's got Shenmue on it. It's got a whole host of awesome, Sega arcade games. So I would say I've flipped the coin in the air. I've caught it, turned it over. There's a Dreamcast PAL blue circle, concentric circle looking at me. Dreamcast.
Good choice. Who we got next?
It's the last question. It's the last question, personalised to you.
It is.
But I want to answer this one as well, if I may be so bold, Sir Gamer Thomas.
Of course you can. Okay, you better ask the question first.
So Retro Gamer Thomas says, Retro Gamer Thomas says to Tom, it's a mouthful, wasn't it? Although you've had a lot of consoles in the past, do you ever regret selling them or trading in? I know you're not really into retro. He's covered every corner for you not to be able to escape out of, hasn't he, here? Every door and avenue is shut. He's chasing the chicken out the house. He didn't want it in the dining room. He didn't want it in the kitchen. He wants it out the hall and out the door. He says, do you ever regret selling them or trading in? I know you're not really into retro. Shut that door as well. But do you ever think, I'd love to play through that again and wish you hadn't sold it? Maybe just have a little collection of your all-time faves you could have a blast on every now and then.
Now, I'm not going to say I regret this because I'll get in a lot of trouble, but I miss my GameCube and the full collection I had for it because it'd be worth a lot of money now as well. I'll tell you how I ended up coming to sell that though, and I do feel like I definitely have my pants pulled down on this one. I was with the girlfriend who is now the wife, and we'd only just started dating. And I'll give some advice here that I wish I'd have had. Don't believe people who say, treat them mean, keep them keen, because it really didn't work. And I was sort of not being very social on the messaging each other, and I hadn't spoke to her in a couple of days, and I got a sort of text like, hi Tom, it's your girlfriend here in case you've forgotten me. And I felt immediately guilty and thought, yeah, that's really poor advice. If you like someone, you should just say. And if you want to speak to them, you should just do it. So never follow that crappy advice. Oh, God, sorry.
PG podcast. Leave it in, Phil. It's part of the emotional story.
Yeah, just never follow advice like that. It's usually said by someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. So I thought, I better get someone to say sorry. So I was a bit sort of low on money at the time. I was like, I've got a load of GameCube stuff under the bed. I'll take that down the local CEX and see what I can get. And I think I've told the story about how their eyes lit up and they were very excited to take my GameCube collection and console away.
That same person, I think, also eyes lit up when I took in some. I didn't have a Saturn at the time, but I had some games hanging around from when I had a Saturn before.
Yeah,
and I thought, well, I'll probably not rebuy a Saturn. I'll get rid of these, and on stalk. So yeah, I'll take these. I'll take these in. I'll take these in.
Yeah, no one else will want them, but I can take them off your hands. Anyway, so I sold all that, got some cash, went and bought the wife some, I think, flowers, chocolates, jewellery, whatever. And yeah, it's a shame because that'd have been a really nice collection to show to my boy. I mean, maybe they wouldn't be interested. I don't know how you sort of older guys who have got sort of reasonably older children, how they've received retro or how they look at it. But
mine loves it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it'd have been nice to have for that reason, and also just a really solid, pretty much covering all the bases collection. So that would be one for me, Retro Gamer Twice. It's a great question. I'd definitely have the GameCube back. Was there another part to that question? I just want to make sure I got that all
No, that's it. You answered it eloquently.
Thank you. Yeah, cheers for the question and the input as always.
Mine, I've mentioned it before. I remember getting rid of the SNES. I tell you, I've confessed to this a couple of times. I think maybe in the Discord. I had a friend who it was in that sort of in between time before the PS1 had come out, and before as the SNES was sort of slowly fading into insignificance. And he bought a Panasonic 3DO, and he had Return Fire, which was this sort of war game set to a classical soundtrack, and it was the first time I'd ever heard a CD soundtrack on a game. And it was like, oh my God, it's amazing. So I never owned one, but I'd love to get, and they're expensive now, a PAL 3DO. And I would go get the full set. As for games that I'd sold, I'd love to have some of my consoles that I had as a kid growing up, or as a teenager that I traded. There's only one that I've got a loose thread to pull on. And when I did, that I'd sold a PlayStation 1 to someone back in the day, and I pulled on the thread to try and start getting it back, and it's like, yeah, I think I sold it to someone at a car boot, and it's like, oh.
I'm really, I was very envious of your Mega Drive collection when you started collecting that. It brought back a lot of memories, and I'd love to have all those. I think the cases are probably the best game cases made.
The best console
followed by the
Dreamcast
as well.
Yeah, is Mega Drive, because they're bulletproof, those cases.
Yeah.
If you collect for the SNES, you carts only, unless you're mental. I mean, I've got a few boxed SNES games. I've got Super Star Wars. I think I've got Mario All Stars, maybe. I haven't pulled the Nintendo stuff out in a while, but yeah, not many. Mainly loose carts. And then I look back at all the stuff I had, and it was just mint sides, corners, the whole bag of tricks. Anyway, we finished reminiscing.
Really good.
You enjoyed that?
I did. Thanks again for everyone's questions. It means a lot because we're a bit concerned whether we would get anything from that. And maybe we'll do another one of those probably
in a year's time.
Yeah, towards like a year's time or towards the end of this year. But when we're running out of content yet again,
well,
we try.
Don't you dare. Well, Tom, we reminisce, and with that, I do believe he's been trying to hawk off the last of the Farmerton merch. Yeah, so he's got Funko Pomps. He's got a boot full of Ponsonbury T-shirts. He's got, and it's all knockoff. It's all knockoff, unofficial controller stuff. If you want the proper stuff, you got to go through Adam the Artist. If you want the knockoff stuff, you got to speak to Stingray. It's time for a peek in what you got to tell me. Come on, get the law out one last time.
Write some law. I can't help it.
Do it.
He has Nerf gun versions of the famous Herr Crowther gold-plated shotgun.
Really?
Yeah.
First time we've found out it's gold plated. So an extra bit of law on top of the law there. So it's time for a peek. Here he comes, tearing up the drive. It's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingrays boot. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy of Battlefriend All this week. These are the new release highlights for the week May 18th to May 24th, 2020. Listeners, these are out on digital, physical, or will be by the time this podcast's in your feed, but could be region dependent. Tom, I had an absolute brain embolism there, much like the early episodes where I couldn't even say that speech without falling over my own teeth. Have you picked a Mummy and a VHS?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll go first. First up, we've got a fold apart on the PS4 and Xbox One, May 19th. It's in a world of folding paper. There are two sides to every story. A simple one there. I've not seen much about that. What we got next?
Golf with your friends. It's PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, May 19th. Why have friends if not to play golf with your friends? Nothing is out of bounds as you take on courses filled with fast-paced, exciting, simultaneous mini-golf action for up to 12 players. Yeah, there is another golf game, I think, somewhere. What the Golf. So this one's like as it says, the kind of like crazy golf scenario where the other one is, don't get them confused, because the other one on Switch is complete drivel.
Okay. Next up, we've got Gorn, PSVR, May 19th. Gorn is a a violent VR gladiator simulator made by Free Lives, the developers of Broforce and Gentile Jousting.
Yeah, this one looks all right, to be fair. It's had its moments on YouTube, I think. Plenty.
Do you think that and sort of Iron Man are going to be the sort of tail end of PSVR 1 and we're going to see a rehash of a PSVR headset 2 to go to PS5?
I'd be devastated if Gorn was one of the last highlights of that. I really would.
Yeah.
But,
what's next?
Warhammer. This is your game.
Yeah.
Warhammer 40,000 Mechanist on Switch, May 19th. Take control of the most technologically advanced army in the Imperium, the Adeptus Mechanicus. The very decision will weigh heavily on the outcome of the mission in this turn-based tactical game.
Turn-based tactical? Oh my
Get
goodness.
on it, exactly. You need to be all over that, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm all over this next one because this is my mummy next.
Is it?
Release? Yeah. I had this originally. I might even pick it up again if the price drops because I'd probably only play it through a couple of times. The Wonderful 101 remastered, available on the PC, the PS4 and Switch. US digital May 19th, EU digital May 22nd.
You bagged yourself an exclusive over there in sunny USSA. USSA? What's that?
I'd recommend to anyone who didn't have this. Not a lot of people have played it because it was on the Wii U, but it's a brilliant little action game from Platinum Studios, and it's a very different take on the sort of genre. Here's the gist of it: a team of heroes from around the world must unite to protect the Earth from vicious alien invaders. This band of 100 wonderful ones work together using their fantastic abilities to create a variety of forms, whether it be a giant fist, a sharp blade. They'll use their wits and powers to overcome the enemy pitfalls and perils. And the final member of the team of this courageous heroes is you. So the controls, I think, have been transferred to the analog sticks to create the shapes you need to perform. You basically have, I think, 6 or 7 key heroes who have the different abilities. So you've got sword, gun. I think there's like a mace. There's a few others I can't remember. But the rest are made up by people you recruit around the world, like little characters running around. But it's very fun little game, that. And I'd recommend it if you're into your sort of Devil May Cry's, Bayonettas, Ninja Gaiden, anything action-based. It's a bit more family friendly. It's like Fisher Price is my first action game, but it's hard. It's not easy. So it's just the design style is a little bit more younger based.
Okay. Well, next up out the boot, Crucible on PC, May 20th. Crucible is a free-to-play team-based PvP action shooter driven by the choices you make.
Ah, very good. Neversong on the PC, May 20th. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Pete who slept peacefully in a coma. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in a nightmare.
Ooh. Aqualungers, PC, May 21st. Who will prevail? The swift or the cunning? Take what's yours while giving them what they deserve.
Next up, Monster Train PC, May 21st. Monster Train is a strategic roguelike deck-building game with a twist. Set on a train to hell, you'll use tactical decisions making to defend multiple vertical battlegrounds. With real-time competitive multiplayer and endless replayability, Monster Train is always on time.
That looked quite good when we were putting together the new releases. I think if that was on Switch, that would probably go over big time. I know there's lots of PC players out there, but what we got next? This one also piqued my interest. This looks quite an awful lot of fun. Red Wings, Aces of the Sky on Switch, May 21st. They'd have been ahead of their time if they're Aces on the Switch. Accompany the legendary Red Baron and Cheap Death on your way to victory. Conquer the skies of the Great War, pilot legendary warplanes, and witness aerial dogfights in the breakthrough stage of the history of flight.
So this is the bad golf game, apparently. What the golf on the Switch, May 21st.
Well, it's just a bit out there.
Oh, okay. So it's not bad. It's just got a wackier style than the more.
The other one looks like to be more fun. This one, you use 1 minute I was seeing them use it like a cow as a. It looks like it looks like the sort of game that the people who make Goat Simulator would make. Okay.
What the golf? The golf game for people who hate golf, made by people who know nothing about golf. This game will make you a better golf player.
It's that sort of claim I make for my streams. It's on Switch as well, so yeah, I thought it was going to be a Steam game, but it's probably on Steam as well. Do you want to take this next one? Because the next one's My Mummy.
Okay. Juho Jotai. Think you can, and the NB Kozani Civil War. Now's your chance to play this entry level. What's that? Danmaku game?
Yeah, good luck with that. May 22nd PC. My Mummy, Maneater, PC, PS4, Xbox One, May 22nd. Experience the ultimate power fantasy as the apex predator of the seas, a giant shark, terrorize the coastal waterways, tear swimmers and divers limb from limb, give the humans a reason to fear you.
That looks really good. That piqued my interest as well. I think that looks pretty decent. And getting some fairly good review scores as well.
Well, how much has it been getting?
7s and 8s mainly.
Wow.
I think that's still a really good game.
That's your metric for being a bit disappointed with Days Gone.
Never forget.
Never forget Days Gone review score. Never.
You've never seen a bigger U-turn since Maureen on driving school.
Still I still would argue that Days Gone has been my favourite bar. If it hadn't been for Death Stranding, that would have been my favourite exclusive.
I think one day we should look back at that, and I do hope it sees a sequel because I think there's more to tell there, isn't there?
I don't think it's going to get one because did you see the PlayStation Studios logo unveil? And I was looking for Days Gone in there and it wasn't there.
Oh, is it not on there?
Not at all, no.
It won't because it was like, were Joel and Ellie on there? Because I'm just wondering where it's like a more mature. Yeah. I don't know, it's like a rating thing that they had to do that for.
Maybe.
But they've said they're going to tailor that studio intro to like the individual franchises, aren't they? So if you load up like Uncharted 6 or whatever, Uncharted 5, it's going to be, they can tailor it to have like a little Uncharted intro, which is quite cool. Anyway, the final game of the new releases is Saints Row the Third Remastered, PC, PS4, Xbox One, May 22nd. Saints Row the Third Remastered gives you control of the Saints at the height of their power and gives you the life to show for it. This is your city. These are your rules. Remastered with enhanced graphics. Steelport, the original city of sinners, never looks so good as it drowns in sex, drugs, and guns. Take a tank skydiving, call in satellite target airstrikes on a Mexican wrestling gang, and fight against a highly trained military force by your lonesome in the most outlandish gameplay scenarios ever seen. Yeah, the wackier GTA, isn't it?
I remember getting the first one and liking it to start with, and then I don't know. I sometimes feel like Saints Row's just a bit too try hard. If that saying's not a bit too underused or overused.
Yeah.
I feel like it's trying so hard to be funny, it's just not funny, or it's trying so hard to be out there, it's just like.
I think really? It's probably not our humour as well. But yeah, there's probably some fun to be had in those for some people. But anyway,
yeah, if the remaster's not crazy money, I think it'd be great. Well, with that, Tom, the boot slammed shut. We've been left covered in unofficial controller merch, from Punko fonts to I've got a Mumsy t-shirt, and you've got a very ill-fitting Lord Ponsonbury jock strap. Good luck with
PCO
that.
Kemp says relax t-shirts.
Okay, wow.
Don't get me started again. Don't just cut the law. Stop it there.
Okay.
Before I get carried away.
The maker, the creator. Oh, I didn't do my VHS. Well, he's driven off, but I've got it in my hand. Mine is Glory. Robert Gouldshaw leaves the US Civil Army's first all-black volunteer group, fighting prejudice from both his own Union Army and the Confederates. With stars
is that with
Matthew Broderick,
yes,
Denzel Washington, and Carrie Ells? Very
good.
What's yours?
My VHS this week is Memphis Belle.
Oh, yeah.
The World War II bomber. Is it an action film? War film.
We'll fall asleep with sweeties in our mouths at Glory, but we'll wake up and stick in Memphis Belle and watch every single glorious second of it. Great film.
Yeah.
Filmed in this country, I believe.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, I think it's got British actors in it. Quite a few British actors as well on it, from memory.
Yes, it does. Can I pick another one?
If you want.
No, I'll save it. No, I'll save it for next week.
Yeah, you normally let yourself down there, don't you? You come out strong, and then you name and shame a load, and then you regret it. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe there's no British actors in it. Maybe I've got confused. I take it all back.
I better ask you, what are you hoping to play next week?
Well, that's slick. What am I hoping to play next week? Finish off ROM 2064. I don't think there's much left to do. Might start another playthrough just for poops and giggles. There'll be some inevitable Minecraft. Probably need to download Stranded Deep, although I can't see that taking off as well as Minecraft. I
still think you should probably put it out on one of the streams and just say, right, everyone, going to be streaming another game at some point. What do you want to see? It's the best way to ask.
Okay. Yeah, but I might end up playing a game I hate. It's my decision. My decision's final at the end of the day. So I'll let them ask. What are you doing? What else am I playing? There'll be a pile of retro.
Laura, do you just want to say hello to everyone? This is a behind the scenes podcast, so you can say hello.
Oh,
just speak on the mic.
I'm not on my face. Can't see my face, can you?
No. We're breaking the fourth wall in this episode. So she's just gone crawling in to retrieve a mobile phone charger on her hands and knees so she didn't make any noise. Say hello.
Hello.
Right, goodbye. You can go now.
Bye, listeners.
The voice that launched 1,000 ships.
Right, okay. I think this has definitely been the behind the scenes episode, hasn't it? The veil has fallen.
And the lowliness of my own life resonates more. I have no one.
We're here for you.
Nothing.
Right.
What are you open? No, don't try and sneak off like the rat you are. I need to list off 1,000 other retro games, but I won't bore you like that. Tell me what you're hoping to play.
finished Last of Us. That's pretty much probably got an hour, 2 hours left on that.
You say you've been in the hospital or not?
No, just I'm on like the outskirts of the city.
Are you playing it on medium or hard difficulty?
On hard, and it's not been too bad. I've tried to like organise what.
Have you done the bit where you go underground in the subway yet?
I think that's in this city, isn't it? I think that's quite tough.
Finish that in an hour and the hospital in an hour. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll try. I'll persevere with that.
That was like that to me. That's underground section before you get into the section that pulls you away with the. I Benny Hilled it in the end.
Yeah,
I totally Benny Hilled it.
I haven't turned on this playthrough. Probably been a bit more like I'm just going to run in and just try and take them on, rather than first time I played it through, I was real stealthy. This one, I'm just like, nah, go and blasting, melee attacks all the way, and then realise you can't actually kill the ticker with melee unless you've got a weapon. But yeah, that'll be about it for me. Just usual online nonsense and fun and games. But yeah, that's me. Right.
Well, in the bag, as they say. Tom, I do believe that's all we've got time for. So we'll give him the outro. That's all we have time for. Thank you this week. As listeners, as always, thank you for your time. We look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. Remember, it's what you do with it that counts. See you, Tom.
See you, mate.